We didn't want to do this.
Not one, but 3 things this week in our cottage renovation and on the homestead that we really did not want to do.
And the last one in particular was brutal.
Felt like we betrayed the land.
Do you want to step aside and show them the damage?
So much destruction can happen in such a short space of time.
So Caveman actually took a weekend off, shocker, which was, he was like, did I? With your mates. When your mates came. Yeah. Probably just as well that you were marginally well rested or better than terribly rested because of the week we've had to deal with, hey? But even though we had these 3 hard things, there's been a ton of progress, nonetheless.
Huge amount of progress, yeah.
So.
Exciting nonetheless.
Let's hold on to that. Thing number 1. So. Remember how last week we were in here, like enjoying a moment in front of the fire, one of those dream moments for us. We haven't shown them the other thing. So should we take them in there and show them what had to be done? It's uncomfortable, brace yourselves.
In the wall that we exposed by removing all of the render, exposed the stone.
Exposed the beauty.
Yeah. I think it's looking absolutely beautiful. We wanted to install a stove in that room as well. That's going to be our lounge snug. And there was questions over whether or not we'd be able to fit the appropriate chimney liner in. Fortunately,
yay,
our dude extraordinaire, Kevin, our stove fitter, managed to get a flexible steel liner down there, but it involved a little bit more destruction than we expected.
It's pretty painful to look at.
Yeah. Let's
go show them. Do you want to step aside and show them the damage?
Well, it's nothing that can't be repaired. That's the main thing. So even before that happened, we knew we were going to have to, this wall's going to need some tender loving care, right?
Yes.
Just needs a little bit more tender loving care now.
Bit extra restoration.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing. These get harder by degrees, don't they? That was the first thing. It was necessary. Still, the ultimate outcome is this beautiful old original stone wall will be brought back to its former glory.
Yeah.
So in the pursuit of that, had to do it, but really painful. I don't even like looking at it. Just looking at it now, this feels kind of wrong. So that's the first mess this week. So K-Man's just had to go deal with something. This week just seems to be a series of messes. Not the week that we wanted, but the week we had. Anyway, speaking of messes, and cleaning things up, behind the scenes, Incogni, who are the sponsors of today's video, have been cleaning up and helping us to protect our data online. So if you haven't heard of them, Incogni is a service that finds out where your personal data is being sold and then sends out requests to have it removed. It's the kind of thing that you don't really think about until you realize what's out there. So that data can be used for targeted advertising, sold to insurers or marketing firms, and scammers can use it to impersonate you, even doing things like taking out loans in your name. We signed up for the family annual subscription, and when I logged back in less than 24 hours later, they had already sent out 103 removal requests, and that was just for my data alone. I was very shocked that my data was in so many places. They'd already completed more than 70 of those and were actively working on the rest. So you can log into the dashboard anytime and check on progress, and I find it really reassuring to see those numbers going down. It only takes about 2 minutes to sign up, and they do all the chasing for you. Honestly, it's just the kind of background cleanup and protection that makes sense. If you've been meaning to tighten up your online privacy, we really recommend giving it a go. You can get 60% off an annual plan with our link in the description, or head to incogni.com/offgrid. They even have a 30-day money-back guarantee, so it's totally risk-free to try. Okay, time to get back to confessing these messes that we've made, and big thanks again to Incogni for sponsoring today's video. Right, let's see if K-Man's finished with his job and can come back and talk about thing number 2, which some of you might be happy about, but we put this off and put this off and then had to pull the trigger on it. Do you want to tell them, or should I? So it was becoming increasingly evident that our timeline here is in jeopardy.
Yeah.
I think you all If you've been around here for a while, you all know that. If you're new and you're like, what timeline? We were approved for a vacant homes grant for bringing this cottage back to life, but it comes with a stipulation of a 13-month timeline to make it habitable. As we stand in here right now on the dirt floor with the holes in the walls, there are how many weeks left?
Well, pretty much 7.
7 weeks left as we record this. Unrealistic.
Yeah, so we had a list of works from the outset, and it was already a tight, not optimistic, it was already a really tight schedule during the last 11 months. Unforeseen stuff has cropped up on this project, as it does on all projects.
Particularly on an old property.
Yeah, exactly. Our tight timeline got even tighter, and now that we're closing in the final few weeks, the windows, the external render needing to be repaired. So yeah, a few fundamental issues needed to be resolved, and all these things take time, right?
So they added to the timeline because those are things that weren't originally in sight, were they?
Yeah, exactly.
So we had quite a lot of conversations because we really didn't want to have to do this, did we?
It was the nuclear option.
And the reason being is that we just want to get out of the caravan. And even just to get in here and having that timeline has meant that momentum has had to just keep up. But after a tense phone call to the county council, what happened?
We explained the situation, and they were very understanding, and they have approved us a extension.
Yay! So even though we really, really, really didn't want to do this, does it feel like a relief?
It's a relief in so much as it's now gone from a bit of a dicey position. We're a lot more comfortable knowing now that we're going to be able to get done what we need to get done.
But not quite a relief yet, because you've still got all the work to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's fine. I was always expecting to do the work.
So if you've been following along for a while and you feel relieved, let us know in the comments, because we could do with that. Because I don't know, we're really stubborn with things like that, aren't we? And we just didn't want to do it, but had to.
Got to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah. So, thing number 3, we're kind of standing on. Do you want to give a bit of context how this came about?
Well, you guys have all seen us struggle with getting materials and feed and water and charge batteries to the top of Hillary to get to the garden, to the hens. So you guys know our struggle, right? We've been thinking about how we're going to solve this problem for the entire time we've been here for the last 18 months.
Sounds like a preamble for a confession.
Well, it is confession. We hadn't planned to tackle this project until kind of next year, really, at the earliest. I just happened to see a number advertising broken stone and rock for sale. So I thought I'd just inquire, just see what the deal is.
For a small track up the side of Hillary.
Yeah, and we ended up in contact with a big construction outfit with big machines, and they've come along and they've done what they do well.
We told them we're thinking at earliest late autumn, and then there was a gap in their schedule, and all of a sudden we had almost no notice, no time to get our heads around it, no time to really think, no time to prepare, which led to this.
A little bit of a problem. Well, it's a good problem to have. We were going to put a roadway down here next to the dry stone wall down to the access gate. The problem with that is we have currently planted a few months ago, as you followers will know, a bunch of acorn and pine trees along here, which is exactly where the road's going to go. So a 13-ton digger is going to turn up tomorrow morning, and it's going to rip up this piece of pasture to create a 8-foot, 10-foot wide roadway, and ploughing straight through the centre of our trees. So a bit of a disaster for the trees. So we've got 2 options. One, we could sacrifice the trees, they just succumb to the ground, or 2, we attempt to move them and keep them alive. So we are in June, well out of bare root season, well out of any appropriate timing that you should be digging up and replanting trees. I'm going to try it. I'm going to do it. I don't want to let these trees die. We already spent the energy and time and effort in getting them in the ground in the first place, so I'm going to try my damnedest to keep them alive. I'm just going to dig quite a big root ball, put it on the board to minimise any disturbance, walk the board to the other side of the field, over near the wall over there, and plant them away from danger. So we'll see, peeps, we'll see how it goes.
It's time for comment of the week, and this week's comment comes from Vicky, who says, I'm a grandma and will be 75 this month. Happy birthday, Vicky. And she went to her son's house to show him how to cut a hole in his garage wall for an AC and put in 2 GFCI outlets, and she loves DIY. Yay, I love that. We are both big fans of the passing down of skills through the generations, so good work, Vicky. And we also just loved everybody letting us know their ages in the comments. Some really interesting folks in this community, and also we had lots of commentary this week about K-Van's plasterboard yoga and why in the heck he didn't get himself some kind of either friend to help or winch. We will let him answer that for himself next week. Thank you so much for everybody who comments week in, week out. We love you guys. We love seeing the conversations between you, and you keep us smiling. That is no small thing. Keep commenting. Maybe next week we'll pick yours. This is not fun to watch. I hate watching the destruction. And consequently, standing, do you want to stand that way? We're standing on our new track. Now, I don't know if it's going to look as bad on camera as it feels or it looks in person. How did you feel when you first walked up here?
A little bit disturbed.
Yeah. You described it as devastated afterwards when you came back. We both were just shell-shocked for, well, we kind of still are a bit.
So much destruction can happen in such a short space of time. It took one day.
Yeah.
One day to create the actual main pathway up Hillary.
So much mess. It's no fault of the contractors. I want to be clear.
No.
We're not saying
they were doing their
nobody
job.
did anything wrong. I just don't know if we managed our own expectations or what, because everybody that we've spoken to, all of our friends locally and neighbours, they've been like, well, yeah, of course that happened.
Yeah.
It feels brutal, doesn't it?
It was a bit heartbreaking, and it's because such a massive amount of change happens in such a short space of time. It takes time for your mind to kind of catch up.
Yeah, and also we're so sensitive to this place. Like, we're so keenly aware of our privilege of being here, and we're so set on trying to be good stewards of this land that ripping a big road through it, as it feels, it's probably not actually the reality, but that's how it feels, seemed just wrong. Felt like in that moment it'd gone against everything that we believe in.
Felt like we betrayed the land to some extent,
and
didn't
ourselves somehow, our values. I think that's probably over dramatic.
Yeah.
Don't make us feel worse in the comments. Please only make us feel better. If you can't see something nice this week, we're fragile this week.
I mean, you said to me, after I came back, like, a little bit devastated, like, well, what did you expect?
Yeah, I did say, well, they were hardly going to tickle a path up there. Yeah. But that was only the first run, and then it's kind of got continually worse as the work's gone on.
So in summary, we've now got a track. We've now got I wouldn't say a roadway, because some rock still needs to be thrown down on the ground.
Yeah.
But we've now got a roadway from the cottage all the way down the field, up the side of Hillary, up to the top 2 fields.
Up to where we have the hens and the veg patch, and to our back field, which is where our permaculture orchard will be. So all of our land is now accessible to us, and potentially to a vehicle.
Yeah.
So that is a big win for the homestead. It just, like, I'm just looking around at the devastation behind the camera right now. Just, it's felt really hard to stomach, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, particularly because it was overgrown, unspoilt.
Beauty.
And it remained like that for a few decades. We really need Mother Nature to come back double quick to start softening the scar that is now cutting its way through the land.
Yeah. Cut to this time next year and I'm here pulling brambles out of the whole thing and bracken. Yeah. It was a tough week having all these 3 things, really big, brutal decisions, all hopefully, ultimately for the good of what we're trying to do here. This one in particular has felt the hardest to bear, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So I think we need to kind of recover and lick our wounds a little bit now, don't we?
Yeah, it's going to take some time. So what did help is I managed to bring the replacement battery for the hen's electric fence up here today by wheelbarrow.
First time that's ever happened.
Yeah.
Not by rucksack.
No, so
yeah, already it's been put to use.
Yeah.
We could get the ponies up here now.
Yeah.
Get them hauling.
Well, and that's quite an important point actually. Like we can actually bring animals up here now.
Yes. Yeah. So pigs or goats or whatever we decide we want to get.
Yeah.
It's opened up possibility. It was always necessary if we were going to actually make use of this land. But yeah, just listen to us just continuing.
We're still convincing ourselves.
To convince ourselves and justify this gash in the landscape.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that's been it. We just wanted to share this because we didn't film an awful lot because everything happened so quickly. All of these 3 things happened so quickly and in the middle of like your work week. So we were working while this was happening. This wasn't a weekend project, side quest or an evening thing that you were working on. And I think that was also part of the reason why it was hard, was because we would just come out and be like, wait, what's happened now? At the end of a long day of the guy on the digger. But we wanted to share this because this is the reality of this particular cottage renovation and homestead project, hey?
It's part of the journey, isn't it?
It's part of the journey. Next week, things will probably, hopefully, continue, but a bit more of a gentle theme.
Big shout out to all of our subscribers and commenters. All of your comments, all of your support, all of your feedback keeps us going, keeps us motivated, keeps us
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really appreciate all of you, however you support us, whether that's free or otherwise. We think you guys rock, and thank you for being here, even through these literally rocky times. Yeah. We'll see you next week.
See you, folks. Bye, folks.
Bye. Egged that just the correct amount, rather than over egging.
I guess so.
Perfectly egged.
Just enough yolk.
Chimney engineers? Is that a thing?
The stove installers.
Stove installers. Chimney engineers. Chimney dudes.
I'm sure they'd appreciate that.
I'm sure they would. Thanks, Kevin. Chimney dude. Extraordinaire. That's what it says on his business card.
Is it? I wouldn't put it past him.
Chimney dude extraordinaire.
He's that kind of guy. And after meeting him, it's legit.
It's legit, yeah. It would be no false claim.
No. I'm just putting my work gloves on out of habit.
I guess I have to do something.
I feel naked without my work gloves.
Quite ready?
Yeah.
Little burp in there, brewing. Is it ready?
I'm done.
You're done.
No, wait a minute. No, I'm done. Anything else?
Still just absorbing it all.